The rain fell hard on the glass dome of Research Station 7. Doyen Kim looked up from his work and watched the water slide down in streams. He had been on this lonely planet for 3 years now. His small lab was filled with samples of alien plants and small creatures that moved in their tanks. Log entry 342, Doyen said to his computer. The neural patterns of the Vis species show remarkable adaptation to human touch. This supports my theory that cross-species neural connections are possible. He didn't know that his words were being recorded by more than just his computer. Far away on the Dominion command ship, 5 officers sat around a large table, a hologram of Doyen working plate in the center. "This human knows too much," said Commander Kang, his face hard in the blue light. "His research could break our control over the war Leopards. If they learn, they can resist our neural commands." The other officers nodded. The war Leopards were the Dominion's greatest weapon, large cat-like beings engineered from Earth leopards, made smarter and stronger. Their bodies were enhanced with metal parts, and their minds controlled by special technology. They were the perfect soldiers and killers. "Who do we send?" asked a female officer. Commander Kang pressed a button. A new image appeared, a war leopard with black spots on golden fur. His left eye was replaced with a red scanning device. Metal plates covered parts of his powerful body. "We send Taehyun, our best hunter." In another part of the ship, Taehyun lay in his small cell. His tail moved slowly across the floor as he rested. A sharp pain suddenly hit his brain. New information flooded his mind. Pictures of Doyen, the research station, and one clear command: kill. Taehyun's body tensed. He stood up, 7 feet tall on his hind legs, metal claws sliding out from his paws. The cell door opened automatically. He had never failed a mission before. He would not fail this one. On Research Station 7, Doyen continued his work, unaware that death was already on its way. The ion storm came without warning. Purple lightning flashed across the sky, hitting the station's shields. Alarms blared as systems failed one by one. "Emergency power only," said the computer voice. The lights dimmed, and Doyen grabbed his emergency light. This was when Taehyun struck. His ship landed silently on the far side of the station. The war Leopard moved through the shadows, his metal parts gleaming faintly. The storm had done his work for him, taking down the security systems. Taehyun found an airlock and forced it open with his powerful claws. Inside, he moved on all fours, faster and quieter than any normal cat. His red eye scanned for heat signs, leading him toward his target. He found Doyen in the main lab. The human was not panicking like most humans did during emergencies. Instead, he moved quickly around the room, making sure his specimens were safe. "It's okay, little ones," Doyen said to the small creatures in their tanks. "The backup systems will keep you warm." Taehyun watched from the shadows. The kill command pulsed in his brain, but something made him pause. This human spoke to the creatures with kindness. It reminded Taehyun of something from long ago that he couldn't quite remember. He moved closer, knocking over a small tool. Doyen turned quickly, his light finding Taehyun's eyes. There was a moment of complete silence. Doyen's mouth opened slightly, but he didn't scream. His eyes showed surprise, but not fear. "You're a war leopard," Doyen said softly. "I've only seen pictures." Taehyun growled, confused by the human's reaction. Why wasn't he afraid? Doyen slowly put down his light. "You're even more amazing than the reports said. The neural integration with the mechanical parts is incredible." Before Taehyun could respond, the whole station shook violently. An explosion rocked the far side of the complex. What was that? Doyen moved to a window. Outside, a Dominion attack ship was firing on the station. Taehyun knew what it meant. The Dominion was making sure the job would be done, one way or another. If he failed, they would destroy the entire station. The war Leopard had a choice to make: follow orders and kill this strange human, or The station rocked again as another blast hit. Ceiling panels fell, and one crashed toward Doyen's head. Tae-hyun moved without thinking. He leaped forward, pushing the human aside, and taking the hit on his armored back. Doyen stared at the war Leopard standing over him. The fallen ceiling panel lay cracked on the floor. "You saved me," Doyen said. "Why?" Tae-hyun growled, confused by his own actions. The kill order still burned in his mind, but something stronger was fighting against it. Another explosion rocked the station. The lights flickered. "They're going to destroy the whole place," Doyen said. "We need to leave." Tae-hyun's red eye scanned the room. Dominion forces, coming from East Corridor. Doyen looked surprised to hear the war Leopard speak. His voice was deep and rough. "My ship is in Hangar B," Doyen said. "Can you help me get there?" Tae-hyun made his choice. With a swift movement, he broke the tracking device on his arm. The Dominion would not be able to follow his movements now. "Follow," he said simply. They ran through the dark hallways. Twice they had to hide as Dominion soldiers passed. Once, Tae-hyun fought 3 soldiers who spotted them, his claws making quick work of their armor. At the hangar, Doyen's small research ship waited. It wasn't built for battle, but it was fast. As they prepared to board, Doyen's computer bracelet beeped. A woman's face appeared on the small screen. "Doyen, the station's emergency alert reached me. What's happening?" It was Minji, Doyen's research partner, who was off station. "Minji, the Dominion is attacking. They sent a war Leopard to kill me, but he's helping me instead. We're escaping now." Minji's eyes widened when she saw Tae-hyun. "Be careful. All channels are buzzing with news that you're both marked for death now." As they boarded the ship, Doyen noticed Tae-hyun wincing in pain. The neural implant at the base of his skull was glowing red. "They're trying to override your decision to help me," Doyen said. "Let me look at that implant." Tae-hyun hesitated, then lowered his head. Doyen took out his research tools and carefully examined the device. "This is how they control you," he said softly. "My research could disable this. That's why they want me dead." The ship's engines roared to life. Tae-hyun took the controls with surprising skill, flying them out of the hangar just as more explosions destroyed the station behind them. "Where do we go?" Tae-hyun asked. "Somewhere I can work on that implant," Doyen replied. "And somewhere we can figure out why you chose to save me instead of killing me." As they escaped into space, Dominion ships appeared on their radar. The hunt had begun. The small research ship jumped through space, barely staying ahead of their hunters. For 3 days, Doyen and Tae-hyun took turns piloting while dodging Dominion patrols. "Another close call," Doyen said as they escaped a patrol near the Koro Belt. He looked at Tae-hyun, who sat in the co-pilot's seat. The war Leopard's fur was golden with black spots, except where metal parts had been added to his body. Tae-hyun rubbed the back of his neck where the neural implant sat. "The pain is less now." Doyen nodded. He had been working on the implant whenever they had quiet moments. "I've disabled some control functions, but I need better tools to remove it completely." "Where are we going?" Tae-hyun asked. "Hanok, a frontier world. My sister lives there." Doyen looked nervous. "I hope she'll help us." The ship landed in a forest clearing far from the main settlement. Suman's home was a small farm at the edge of the woods. When Doyen knocked on the door, his sister's face showed both joy and fear. "Doyen, what are you doing here? There are alerts everywhere about you." Then she saw Tae-hyun and screamed, pulling her young son behind her. "It's okay," Doyen said quickly. "He saved my life. He's with me." Suman didn't believe him at first. She kept her distance from Tae-hyun, watching his every move. But after 2 days, something changed. Suman's son Junho was playing outside when a native predator animal approached. Before anyone could react, Tae-hyun leaped forward, scaring the creature away with a mighty roar. That night, Suman finally spoke directly to Tae-hyun. "Thank you for protecting my son." In the days that followed, Doyen built a small lab in the barn. He worked on understanding Taehyun's neural implants, while the war Leopard kept watch for danger. One evening, as they sat around the fire, Taehyun asked, "Why did the Dominion want you dead?" Doyen looked sad. "My research showed that neural connections between species are possible without control implants. If war Leopards learned this, we could be free," Taehyun finished. Their peaceful time ended 1 week later. A Dominion scout ship flew over the farm. They had been found. "They tracked us here," Taehyun growled. "We must leave or your family will be in danger." Doyen hugged his sister and nephew goodbye. "I'll contact you when it's safe." As they ran back to their ship, Dominion soldiers landed behind them. Taehyun fought them off while Doyen prepared for takeoff. "Where now?" Taehyun asked as they escaped into space. "An abandoned mining facility in the Sunho system," Doyen replied. "We need to finish what we started." The abandoned mining facility on Sunho was dark and cold. Doyen set up his equipment in a large room that once served as the control center. Taehyun helped move heavy machines and kept watch for danger. "This should work," Doyen said, connecting the last wire to his computer. "It will let me see deeper into your neural implants." Taehyun sat on the floor, his large body tense. "Will it hurt?" "I will try to be gentle," Doyen promised. "But we need to know what's in there." For 3 days, Doyen worked without much sleep. He connected sensors to Taehyun's head and studied the data on his screens. What he found made him more and more angry. "This is worse than I thought," Doyen said on the 4th day. "The Dominion didn't just make you into soldiers. They took something from you." Taehyun's ears perked up. "What do you mean?" Doyen pointed to his screen. "These neural patterns show that your species had its own culture, language, even art. The Dominion erased those memories and replaced them with battle training." Taehyun stared at the screen, though he couldn't understand the data. "I sometimes have dreams of running through tall grass with others like me, of singing under the moon. Are those real memories?" "I think they are," Doyen said softly. "Buried deep in your mind, where the Dominion couldn't erase them completely." That night, Doyen took a risk. He carefully removed some of the control chips from Taehyun's neural implant. As the last one came free, Taehyun's body went stiff. "Taehyun," Doyen asked, worried, "are you okay?" The war Leopard's eyes were closed. His body shook. Then suddenly, he relaxed and opened his eyes. They were different somehow, clearer, more alive. "I remember," Taehyun said in a voice filled with wonder. "I was not always Taehyun. That is the name they gave me. My true name is Hoon." Tears formed in the war Leopard's eyes. "I was taken when I was a cub. There were others, hundreds of us. We lived in the forests of a world called New Eden." Doyen put his hand gently on Hoon's arm. "I'm so sorry for what they did to you." Their moment was interrupted when Doyen's computer beeped. A message from Minji appeared on the screen. "Doyen, I found something important. There's a place, a hidden asteroid base where free war Leopards live. It's run by resistance fighters. I'm sending coordinates now. Be careful." Hoon looked at the screen with new hope in his eyes. "Others like me. Free?" "Yes," Doyen said. "And we're going to find them." The asteroid base was hidden inside a dense cloud of space dust. From the outside, it looked like nothing special, just another rock floating in space. Doyen followed the coordinates Minji had sent, piloting their ship carefully through the dust. "Someone is scanning us," Hoon said, his ears twitching. A voice came through their communication system. "Unknown ship, identify yourself or be destroyed. I am Doyen Kim, cynobiologist. With me is a freed war Leopard. Minji Park sent us." After a long pause, the voice replied, "Follow the guidance beacon. Any wrong moves and our defense systems will fire." A small opening appeared in the asteroid. They flew inside and landed in a small hangar where 2 figures waited for them. One was a human woman with short black hair. The other was a war leopard, smaller than Hoon, but just as fierce-looking. "I am Ju-woo," the woman said. "This is Hyun. Welcome to Sanctuary." Hyun approached Hoon slowly. "Brother," he said in their native language. It was a word Hoon had forgotten until now. Ju-woo looked at Doyen with hard eyes. "Most humans here don't trust your kind. The Dominion has hunted us for years." "I understand," Doyen said, "but I want to help free the war leopards." Ju-woo led them deeper into the asteroid. Inside was a small city carved from rock. Doyen was amazed to see dozens of war leopards living there. Some had removed parts of their metal implants. Others still wore them, but had painted colorful designs over the metal. Not everyone welcomed them. Many war leopards growled when they saw Doyen. Some humans turned away. "You will stay in the medical section," Ju said. "Your skills might be useful there." For the next week, Doyen worked to remove control implants from war leopards who still had them. Each day, more came to trust him. Hoon stayed by his side, helping translate and calm the nervous ones. In the evenings, Hoon learned about his forgotten culture from the others. They taught him songs and stories from their homeland. In return, Doyen taught them about Earth cats, their distant ancestors. "Your people have a beautiful history," Doyen told Hoon one night. "The Dominion had no right to take that from you." Their peaceful time ended suddenly when alarms rang throughout the base. "Dominion ships approaching," someone shouted. "How did they find us?" Ju ran into the room, her face angry. "Someone sent a message off base yesterday. We traced it to the medical section." All eyes turned to Doyen. "It wasn't me," he said. "I would never betray you." "It was me," said a quiet voice. A young human assistant stepped forward, shaking. "They have my family." The asteroid base shook as the first Dominion ships fired on it. Red emergency lights flashed through all hallways. "Everyone to battle stations," Ju ordered over the speakers. "This is not a drill." Hoon and Doyen ran to the command center. War leopards and humans moved quickly around them, preparing for battle. "Our shields are holding for now," Hyun reported, "but they have 5 warships out there." On the main screen, they could see the Dominion fleet surrounding the asteroid. A message came through. "Attention Rebel Base. This is Commander Kang of the Dominion Fleet. Surrender the human scientist Doyen Kim and the rogue war leopard unit Taehyun, and we may spare the rest of you." Ju looked at Doyen. "They want you badly." "Don't give them what they want," Doyen said. "I have an idea." He turned to Hoon. "The Dominion ships will have war leopards on board. What if we could free them like I freed you?" Hoon's eyes widened. "Turn their own weapons against them." Doyen nodded. "I need to build a device that can send a signal to disrupt their control implants. But I need time." "We'll give you time," Ju said. She turned to Hyun. "Prepare our fighters." Hoon put his hand on Doyen's shoulder. "I will lead the defense. You work on the device." The battle began. Small fighter ships launched from the asteroid, piloted by both humans and war leopards. They fought bravely, but they were outnumbered. In the medical lab, Doyen worked faster than he ever had before. He connected parts from different machines, building something new. "This should work," he muttered to himself. "It has to work." The base shook again as more Dominion weapons hit it. A voice came over the speaker. "Shields at 30%. We can't hold much longer." Doyen finished his device. It was ugly, made from parts never meant to go together, but it might work. "I need to get to the communication center," he told his assistant. "This has to be connected to the main antenna." They ran through hallways filled with smoke. When they reached the communication center, Doyen connected his device to the main system. Just then, Hoon burst into the room. His fur was burned in places, and he was breathing hard. "They've breached the north entrance," he said, "and they have something new. A weapon that affects only war leopards. Many of our fighters are down." A new figure entered behind Hoon. It was another war leopard, larger than Hoon, with more metal parts. His eyes glowed red. "Commander Rack," Hoon growled. "Traitor," the larger war Leopard said. "You abandoned your purpose." "I found my true purpose," Hoon replied, standing between Rack and Doyen. As the two war Leopards fought, Doyen activated his device. A pulse of energy spread from the asteroid, touching all the Dominion ships. Doyen's device sent waves of energy through space. On the Dominion ships, war Leopards suddenly stopped fighting. Their control implants sparked and failed. Back in the asteroid base, Hoon and Commander Rack fought fiercely. Rack was bigger and had more weapons built into his body. But Hoon fought with something Rack didn't have: freedom in his mind. "You can be free too," Hoon told Rack as they circled each other. "Remember who you really are." Rack growled, but for a moment, doubt crossed his face. Then Doyen's pulse hit him. The red glow in his eyes flickered and went out. Rack fell to his knees, holding his head. "The voices, they're gone," he whispered. On the command center screens, they watched as confusion spread through the Dominion fleet. War Leopards were turning against their commanders. Some ships stopped firing. Others turned to escape. "It's working," Ju shouted. "Doyen, you did it." But one Dominion ship was still attacking. It was the command ship, where fewer war Leopards served. "They're targeting our main power systems," Hyun reported. "We need to stop that ship." Rack stood up, his eyes clear now. "I know that ship. I know where they keep the cubs." "Cubs?" Doyen asked. "The breeding facility," Rack explained. "Thousands of war Leopard cubs are there, being trained and implanted. That's why I came on this mission, to protect that ship at all costs." Hoon looked at Doyen. "We need to save them." Doyen nodded. "I can modify my device to work on a larger scale, but I'll need to be on that ship, at their central control hub." "That's suicide," Ju said. "I'll go with him," Hoon replied. "I know we can do this." They took a small, fast ship. Rack joined them, knowing all the access codes to the command ship. As they approached, Doyen worked to improve his device. "This will free all the cubs at once," he explained. "But I need to connect it to their main computer." They docked at a service entrance. Rack led them through hidden corridors, avoiding guards when possible, fighting when necessary. Finally, they reached the central hub. Doyen was shocked to see hundreds of small tanks. Each one held a sleeping war Leopard cub, connected to machines that were programming their minds. "Hurry," Rack urged. "Connect your device." Doyen ran to the main computer. As he worked, alarm sirens blared. Guards rushed in, firing weapons. Hoon and Rack fought to protect Doyen. A stray shot hit Doyen in the side. He fell against the computer, blood spreading on his shirt. "Doyen," Hoon shouted. Doyen got back up, hands shaking as he finished connecting the device. "Almost done," he said weakly. More guards poured in. Hoon and Rack were outnumbered. "Get the command codes," Rack shouted as he fought. "We need them to complete the mission." 3 months passed since the battle on the Dominion command ship. In a small research center hidden in the mountains of Earth, Doyen sat in a wheelchair looking out at the forest. His side still hurt where he had been shot, but the doctors said he would walk again soon. The door opened behind him. Hoon walked in, no longer wearing any Dominion metal parts. His fur had grown over the places where the implants had been removed. "The new cubs are settling in well," Hoon said. "They learn quickly." Doyen smiled. "How many arrived in the last transport?" 50 more. That makes almost 300 now living in the Sanctuary Valley." After the battle, everything had changed. When Doyen had fallen from his wounds, Hoon had made a choice. Instead of getting the command codes that Rack wanted, Hoon had picked up Doyen and fought his way back to their ship. "You chose me over the mission," Doyen said softly. Hoon nodded. "Rack got the codes. He completed the mission. But I brought you home." The war Leopards had been granted refugee status on Earth. Hidden valleys in remote mountain regions became their new homes. Humans were not allowed to enter these areas except for a few scientists like Doyen, who helped the war leopards adjust to their new freedom. "Why did you save me?" Doyen asked. It was a question he had asked many times. Hoon looked out at the forest. "In all my years as a weapon, you were the first being who saw me as a person, not a tool, not a monster, a person with a past and a future." Doyen reached out and put his hand on Hoon's arm. "You are a person. All of you are." A message appeared on Doyen's computer. It was from the Earth government. The Dominion had finally agreed to peace talks. The war leopards would be recognized as a free species with their own territory. "Will you speak at the peace conference?" Doyen asked. Hoon shook his head. "No, my place is here, with our people, with you." Later that day, Hoon took Doyen outside in his wheelchair. They watched from a distance as Hoon's group of young war leopard cubs played in a meadow. They were learning to hunt, but also how to sing the old songs of their people. "They will never know what it was like to be controlled," Hoon said. "They will grow up free. And they will know their history," Doyen added, "both the good and the bad." Hoon looked down at the human who had changed everything for his kind. "You gave us back our past and our future." The sun set over the mountains as the cubs continued to play. One of them spotted Hoon and Doyen watching and waved. Soon they all were waving. "Home," Hoon said simply. "You brought me home."